Hello and welcome to How Do You Do It, the show that tells you how to pull off great film effects cheaply and efficiently. Now, seeing this is the first ever episode, we are going to go for the most obvious effect ever, the Star Wars ones. And we have recently entered the Film Wrap Monday challenge with this video. So those of you who haven't seen it already, here you go.
Who are you?
Now, as you can tell, we had a ton of, well, I did anyway, had a ton of fun with the plane and everything, and the lightsaber effect. The lightsaber effect was pretty straightforward. So we had this new free software called LS Maker, and you have to set your settings, which we'll get to later, and you have to go in frame by frame by frame to put in the lightsaber, but once it's all done it looks really good. For the plane effect, all we did simply was go into this free 3D animation software called Blender, and it is really good software for free. And what we did, we tracked our footage, we will get into on a later episode. We put in our 3D plane, animated it, so we did what we wanted with it, and then we added in smoke, which was a nightmare. Seeming I never even touched on smoke before. It did take a long time watching tutorials and getting advice and everything else. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up your particle system for the smoke, and to do this you want to put your emission at 100,000 and then your lifetime to 1. You're going to want to click random, and you're going to want to turn off emitter. And you also want to put your physics to none. This will completely hide the object that you're trying to emit from. And then you're going to want to set your display to point so you can still see what is going on. The next thing you want to do is to set up the domain for the smoke. Now to do this you click on smoke, domain, and this basically controls what your smoke does. Okay, the first thing you want to do is set your vorticity to 3. You click dissolve, you deselect slow, and put your time to 25. And you go to the border collisions and you make it open. Then you go to subdivisions and you go to 64. This hires the quality of your smoke. Then you click on smoke high resolution and set your noise method to FFT. Now to do the lightsaber method, I first selected my colour, which was red. You then set the pieces to 7, you then put the roundness to 1. You then set the thickness to 7 and your first and second widths to 15, but this depends on how thick you want your lightsaber. You make both zeros on both colours to 1 and you click on lock. Here are a few tips you're going to want to keep in mind. The first, if you can shoot handheld and put in the effect then please do. Having handheld will sell your effect so much more than having still frames. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're tracking footage, make sure you have stuff to track, because if you're just shooting a thing of the sky, then that's not going to help whatsoever. Unless you have like super dark clouds and a super light sky, then you ain't gonna have a chance really. Another thing to remember is if you can have like stuff in your existing environment react to something that you have to put in, then do that as well, because that will again help you sell the effect as much as possible. And that's all we have time for on this episode. We are currently in the process of making our second Film Art Monday challenge entry, which is slow motion, and next time we will touch on that. So from me and everyone else at Housemade Studios, goodbye.